Hey guys, it's your girl Lily.
It's your boy Steph.
And we are back with another video.
Yes, sir. We back.
It's back. As you guys can tell by the title of the video, we haven't posted a video in a really long time because a lot has happened since then. And I just really wanted to open up and just kind of talk about my story and our story on what happened. And I feel like a lot of women go through this and they don't really talk about it. And honestly, like, just going through this journey, like, we realized that, like, honestly, every other woman goes through this every single day. And so, Happy New Year, guys. And I hope you guys are starting the year off better than last year.
Right.
And I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday with your family. So Merry Christmas to all of you guys, even though we're already in the new year.
Right.
But yeah, so
almost February already.
No, can you guys believe that? We're already into the year strong, and the days are going by like this.
Yep, super fast.
But anyway, you guys, so where we are gonna touch base on and start the story is here. So we've had a wonderful Christmas. Sadly, the day after Christmas, things just kind of took a left for us. As many of you guys know who follow us on social media, the day of Christmas, I actually announced that we were expecting our third baby. And at that point, I was already almost 3 months. And I was like a few days away from being 3 months pregnant. And I already had a really rough pregnancy, like super nauseated, super sick to my stomach, cramping. It was just a really different pregnancy than all my other ones. But anyway, so the day after Christmas, we wake up, you know, and I'm telling Stefan, like, I'm not feeling well. Things feel different. Like, I'm cramping a lot.
You did say you was in pain a lot once you found out you were pregnant.
Yeah, like at the beginning of my pregnancy, I was having a lot of cramping, and it wasn't as bad as the second time. But my doctor was like, oh, it's normal. You're very early in your pregnancy. It's more like implantation, and it'll go away. Just take some Tylenol. So I took Tylenol, and it went away, and you know, I got over it. I never felt the cramps again. But then on December 26th, like I said, we woke up. I told Stefan I was cramping, and it was like menstrual cramps, but kind of more intense. And I was like, I just don't feel right. I was like, I feel really bad. And I got up to use the bathroom. I noticed that when not to be too much TMI, but like I said, many women don't talk about this. So I went to the bathroom, I wiped, and I noticed that I was spotting blood. And so I freaked out, and I was like, that never happened either one of my other pregnancies. Like, I don't know. We should probably call my OB, get an opinion. You know, it was too early, so I had to call the early service line, whatever it's called. And so I called, and the doctor that was on call told me that she thinks I should go to the ER just to be safe. And so I was like, okay. So we went to the ER. Mind you guys, we are in the middle of a pandemic still.
Right.
The ER was flooded with a bunch of COVID patients.
Right.
There was so many people sick. I mean,
there was a lot of people in there, period, with COVID, without COVID,
yeah,
broken
babies,
arms,
kids.
everybody.
I mean, it was crazy. So after 5 hours, you guys, of sitting in the waiting area, literally with the most anxiety I've ever experienced in my life, we finally got called in. They did a sonogram. The whole time that this woman is doing my sonogram, you know, she's just chit-chatting about seafood to Stefan. And I'm, you know, I keep asking her, like, yes, and I'm just like, do my sono, like, get with it, lady. We've been sitting here forever. And so then I tell her, you know, I keep asking her, hey, is everything okay? Do you see a heartbeat? Do you hear the heartbeat? She just keeps telling me, yeah, everything's fine. At the end, the doctor will go over everything with you. We get it sent back to the waiting room, right? At that point, my cramps are still there, but they, like, are kind of like almost like when you're in labor, like kind of like a contraction, like it gets real strong and then it kind of fades out and then it gets real strong. So I was just like, I don't know what's going on at this point. So we get sent back to the waiting room. We sit in the waiting room for what, another 2 hours?
About an hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah, and then we finally get called back to a room to talk to a nurse practitioner. And she basically just hits us right with it. Like, I think you're going to have a miscarriage if you're not already miscarrying. She's like, the sonographer did not hear a heartbeat. No, she said she heard a heartbeat, but she couldn't tell if it was mine or the baby's because I'm so early on. Then she goes to tell me that I'm only measuring to be 8 weeks pregnant. And I'm like, there's no way, I'm about to be 12 weeks. Like, how is that even a thing? And so we just kind of looked at each other, and she's like, I'm really sorry to give you this kind of news, but we couldn't confirm, but I want you to check in with your OB, like right in the morning once home with that kind of news. And like at that point, like I could not stop crying.
Right.
We were
crying,
a hot mess.
Couldn't sleep.
We were up all night. We woke up at like 7 in the morning. I called the OB and I was like, you know what? This is what they told me. I don't know what's going on. I'm still in pain. And so she's like, okay, be like here first thing when we open. So we get there, and you guys, mind you, I just want to show you. So when I showed that I was pregnant and confirmed my pregnancy, this was December the 2nd of 2021. I was 8 weeks and 2 days, and this was the size of the baby. And as you guys can tell, there's a heartbeat there. So when I go in to the doctor, like obviously they do sonograms there a million times a day, so they're way more with it than the ER was. And so they knew exactly where to look, what they were looking for. And the sonographer was really sweet, and she just basically was like, I'm so sorry, you guys, like your baby has no heartbeat. It's still measuring 8 weeks, which confirms, you know, why it hasn't grown. And so basically, I'm trying really hard not to cry. Basically, at the point where I found out and I confirmed that I was pregnant, maybe like a few days later, the baby was practically dead already and had no heartbeat. So I had been walking around still feeling all the symptoms of pregnancy, nausea, which I was feeling horrible, like I said.
Joy, everything.
Not knowing that my baby was already 3 weeks inside of me, dead. So that was really hard, and it's still very hard, and it's still something that, like I said, not many people talk about. So at that moment, you know, they gave us time in the room, and they basically told us, like, you know, your doctor's gonna come in, she's gonna go over 3 things you guys can do. And so at that point, I didn't really know. You know, she said the nurse told us that, or the sonographer told us that the doctor was going to come in and talk to us and give us some options and let us know what the next steps would be. So once the sonographer leaves the room, we were like, thank you. We were like, you know, I don't know, like what, you know, we just start crying because we're like, what is happening right now? Like we went from being so excited to, you know, even feeling fear because, you know, bringing a child into the world during this time is scary. In general, it's scary. And so we were getting over the phase of like, oh my gosh, we're really about to have our 3rd kid, and going to the fact that, as many of you guys know, because I mention it so much, how hard it is for me to conceive, that I actually was able to get pregnant without doing the fertility meds this time. You guys, my doctor had just handed me the tablets, or called in my prescription. I had just picked it up. And I was like, okay, I'm going to start this next dose of my fertility meds when I start my next cycle. Well, my next cycle never came. Wow. And so it was just so crazy and amazing how, like, for the first time, I was actually able to conceive without fertility meds. And then this just happened. Like, it's a horrible feeling.
The thing is, it's like, you know, like the doctor was saying, you know, it's very normal. You know, it's like, what, 30-40% women that, you know, experience this at least once in their lifetime. So, you know, it's kind of, you know, that helps, you know, get through it and everything, you know, and
know that we're not
alone. You just don't expect it to be you know, after, you know, 2 healthy pregnancies, but, you know, God,
you know, and then
mistakes,
you know, you think in that moment, like, was it something I did? Was it something we did?
Right, how it happened.
You know, is it because of, I don't know, you know, you just think of so many scenarios. And one thing I can tell you guys is that no matter how much you tell yourself it's not your fault, you're going to feel like it's your fault. So you just have to constantly be reminded that
it's not your fault.
That is not your fault. And so my doctor basically comes in, right? And she, you know, she tells us she's sorry. She gives us this beautiful heart, you guys, that's like sewn with like beads and diamonds, and it comes with a little poem. And it's a small gesture, but it just holds so much value to it. And just how how much they were able to tell us they were sorry and sympathize, you know, the fact that we go through this, or we're going through this, and it's just,
right.
I don't know, I can't stress enough how hurt that, how painful that was. And you know, it's like, never in a million years did I imagine that I would lose my baby, and that the day after I announced to the world that we're having our third baby, and now, you know, little did I know,
2 days later,
God has already taken him, and now we just have an angel looking out for us, you know? And so anyway, so my doctor comes in, and she tells us, you know, she talks to us for a little bit, and then she says, I'm not going to pressure you. Whenever you're ready, you have 3 options. Option A was to come home and just let my body miscarry on its own, but we wouldn't know when it would happen. It could be days, it could be weeks. Then option B was to be given a tablet that makes you basically like dilate your cervix and makes you, you know, miscarry. And that happens between 24 to 48 hours. And then option C was surgery, which is called a D&C procedure, which is basically them going in and scraping out everything out of your uterus and basically clearing out the baby. And your I guess I don't know if I have a placenta. I didn't even think of asking, but clearing everything out that would have to involve the baby and all of that, and making sure that nothing is left behind to catch infection or anything like that. So, you know, I immediately looked at Stefan and I was like, there's no way I can go home knowing I'm still pregnant. My baby's not alive. And then just wake up one day and be like, oh, look, there, it's out, you know, like, it's just not something that I want to live through. Right. And it didn't take me Googling or anything to figure that out. Like, in my heart of hearts, I already knew that I wanted the procedure. And Stefan agreed. Like, we were on the same terms immediately. Of course, I've never had major surgery. I've never had any surgery, never been put under. So that was my first, like, actual procedure. So it was scary, you know, and like, they sent me home. They're like, we'll call you when opening opens up. And like, literally within like 2 hours from leaving there, they called me and said that they had one opening left the next day. So I was like, okay, the earlier, the better, the faster. Like, I want to get that part over with. So this is Tuesday, December the 27th, right?
Yes.
Yes.
No, that was Monday.
That was Monday. When was Tuesday? Tuesday was the 28th?
The 28th.
Yeah, the 28th was the day of my surgery.
Actually got the surgery.
So my appointment was at 10 to have my surgery. I had to be up at 7 because it's all the way in McKinney. I live in Dallas. So we had to be there to get a COVID test done before my surgery, which was so painful. Lord, like, my lymph node, y'all, was swollen for like the first week after my surgery, just from them going up to do the test. But anyway, so they did they did my COVID test. I had to get sent back to the car. Then they texted me that my results came back negative, so they were able to check me into the day surgery, because it was a day surgery, so I was in and out that same day.
How long was we there?
We were there from 7.
We got there like at 7. The surgery didn't really start to like 10.
No, my surgery was late. They ended up not taking me back to like 10, almost 11. Yeah, like 10:45, 10:50.
So yeah, we left for like at 1:30, so about 5-6 hours.
Yeah. And so then I got checked into my room. I got changed into my gown. The nurses came. They took my vitals. They took my blood work. They gave me an antibiotic. They were so extremely, like I said, everyone that knew the reason I was there was so sympathetic. Like, so... Even
though they experienced that a lot.
Yeah, like, even though it's something that's, like, daily to them, that it's neutral, you know? Like, they still showed so much... I don't know if it's empathy or sympathy. I think it's empathy, but... towards the situation, and they were so sweet to me. They took such good care of me. They accommodated Stefan. They let him stay in the room with me until literally they were pushing me out to go to the surgery, to the operating room. They gave me like a little concoction of like some meds in my IV before I actually got put to sleep, just to kind of mellow me, because my anxiety was like through the roof. And so as they're like pulling me out of the room, they're like telling me to say bye to Stefan. And Stefan's like, yo, take care of my wife. And I'm like, yeah. Like, I was already out of there.
Because I'd have been put under and got surgery once before. So
that
I know,
was scary.
like, when they give you that medicine, it's lights out.
Yeah, like, I don't
It's
remember.
lights out.
I just remember being pulled to the operating room. And I remember that it was like super bright lights and like all white. Yeah, and then they were playing like hip hop music. And the guy that came up to me was like this young black dude. He's like, hey girl. He's like, we're going to take good care of you. And I just was like I was in and out staring at the room. And then he just put the breathing, you know, the breathing mask on me. And he was like, just count to 10 backwards. Y'all, I don't even know if I counted. I was already out probably. But all I remember then is waking up, and I was in the recovery room by myself, and then a nurse comes in, and I remember waking up and I was still kind of foggy, and so like I was in and out trying to like really focus, and it was really hard for me to like, it was like I was in that period where like you're taking a nap and you get woken up but you're still like deep in that nap and you're like, okay, let me just close my eyes and go back to sleep. But then immediately I was in so much pain. I was in so much pain, like so much pain in my pelvic area and in my stomach. It just felt like I got punched like 30 times in my stomach. And so then the nurse was like, how is your pain? And I was like, it hurts so bad. So she gave me IV meds. She said, those should kick in pretty quickly. Y'all did nothing for me. Like, I have such a like really bad pain tolerance, like low pain tolerance. Like, I don't do pain at all. So of course I'm like squealing, and she's like, don't move. And I'm like, it hurts so bad. And so then finally they give me another IV med, and it lowered my pain, but I still felt it. So then they had to wait another 15 minutes, and they're like, okay, we're gonna give you another one. This one's strong, okay? And so they gave it to me, and then I was like, okay, I'm cool, I'm chilling. Like, I don't feel anything anymore. And so it kind of dozed in and off. She's like, we're gonna put you back in the room with your husband now. And so they pushed me back into the room, and Stefan at that point was like losing his mind because they had told him that my surgery would only be like 30 minutes long, and I was
like an hour and a half.
Yeah, so I don't know if there was any complications. Did they ever say anything?
No, they were just waiting for you to fully recover, and they said to get the pain under
wake
control.
Up? Yeah. Okay.
Get the pain under control. They didn't want you to come back and be in pain and be freaking out and calling them back and forth, I guess. But
yeah, because it was painful.
Yeah, they were just trying to make sure everything was fine before they came back. And I was in the room before they brought you back.
Really?
For about 5 minutes. Yeah, about 5-10 minutes. Then you came and they brought you back.
Yeah. And then, so what happened then? Because I think I fell back asleep for a little bit.
Yeah, you fell asleep. Then they were bringing you crackers and stuff like that.
Yeah, because they told me that I needed to use the bathroom before I leave.
Oh, yeah.
And that I needed to eat a little bit before I leave. And mind you, like I had not eaten anything since the night before. They told me I couldn't eat anything past midnight. So I was freaking starving. Yeah. Of course, with everything going on, food was the last thing on my mind. But once the surgery was over, I woke up and I was like, everything was like enhanced. Like I was so hungry. I felt like I was starving. And yeah, so then we just got sent home, you guys, and they sent me home with some pain meds, and they just told me to take it easy. So I had my 2-week post-op checkup actually this week on Tuesday, and they told me everything looked good. My stomach like immediately went back to like, it was crazy. Super like small. Yeah, I was like I was never even pregnant. It was so weird. All my symptoms stopped. Like I wasn't nauseated anymore. I didn't feel fatigued. Like it was crazy how your hormones just draft so fast and like pick up your mind, you know, like anyway. So they drew my blood, and they told me that they have to confirm that in my blood work, it still shows that it's going to show that I'm not pregnant anymore. She said most of the time it'll show you are. So we just have to keep checking your blood work to make sure those levels, HCG levels, go down. So I haven't gotten my results back on that, but she did clear me, told me everything was good. She told me that if mentally me and Stefan are in a place where we want to start trying to have another baby, that we are more than welcome to do that there's no science behind, you know, or myths that like my mom and my family tell me from our culture that you're supposed to wait.
Anybody, you know, people say wait and be careful.
Yeah, and so she's like, there's no scientific records that show that you have to wait a certain period that for it not to happen again, or you know, she's like, She's like, I have women that literally have a miscarriage, have the DNC procedure, and like come back
a month or two,
and they're already pregnant. And then they have like multiples. It'll be like twins or triplets, and they have perfectly fine pregnancies.
That'd be great.
Oh yeah, let Stefan tell you. He would want some twins, you guys.
Get them in, get them out.
So for right now, I didn't get on birth control. Our plan is to just focus on our kids that we already have. Keep working towards our dreams and our goals for 2022 that we have both come to an agreement together, as well as our individual
family,
goals.
As a marriage.
Yes, and I think that if it happens, it happens. It's not something that I'm just thinking behind my head like, okay, am I pregnant again now? Am I pregnant again now? Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna let go and let God. I'm in a place right now where I'm not crying anymore like I used to every night, and
it's been what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
And I really thought that I would feel horrible forever, but
we got great support.
Yeah, we do have a really great support system, and our kids keep us busy. So we are in a good space right now. We trust God. So we're trusting God and trusting the process, and know that we have an angel looking out for us, for our kids. Yeah. And in my heart, I will always have had 3 kids. So, just because I never met the little person, never knew if it was a girl or a boy. And Stefan still thinks it's a boy, you guys. But
It was. That was a boy. Otherwise.
But we're going to hold our name because we had names picked, and we're going to wait, and maybe we'll get
girl boy names, but mainly boy names. Yeah. So we'll hold on to them and see what the blessing
So
brings.
hopefully, you guys, we get our rainbow baby soon, and that will be the biggest joy for not just us, but for our kids, because they took a big loss too. So with that being said, that's it for today's video, guys. I wanted to just be very vulnerable and tell you guys my story. I like to involve people in our lives with certain things, because I feel like if we can make someone feel that we understand what they're going through, then they don't feel alone.
And somebody might be going through it and we don't feel alone,
Right.
We didn't expect so many people to reach out and,
tell us that they've gone through it.
Exactly.
And you would never know.
You would never know, but you don't talk about it.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it, and that's totally okay. But I want to bring awareness to it, because it's incredible what a woman's body can do, and it's also incredible what God's work is, and we may not always trust the process, but there is a plan and there is a reason. And I feel like when me and Stefan always have real lows, like eventually we'll have like the biggest highs ever. And we're just waiting for our high right now. And like I said, so with that being said, guys, just keep praying for us. We appreciate everyone who has reached out, prayed for us, sent us. I've gotten flowers. I've gotten cookies delivered.
Cash out money, dinner bought for us.
Yeah, so we really appreciate that. You guys are so awesome. And with that being said, peace. Be blessed.
Thank you.